Hello. Wash hands, wash hands. I wash my hands periodically. Come on, we got this. How are you guys doing? It has been a couple of weeks. So, I have a proposal for you guys. I have this character, okay? So, Sailor Moon that I did, like the beginning of the pandemic sort of era. Last night, just wanted to show you guys. It's kind of fun. I did a couple of demos to be able to showcase how I make clothing for characters. To showcase a couple of different ways that I make clothing for characters, right? So I've got like hoodies. It's by far one of my favorite ways to be able to showcase different ways of making clothing. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. I can read what you're writing. if that's what you're if that's what you're asking. But no, I cannot hear your typing because that would be really weird. Um, just in my mind. But yeah, hoodies. I love hoodies because they're the best way for me to be able to showcase making clothing. So yeah, this is a demo that I made for class. The clothing anyway. That I made for class last night. I currently want to work on either taking this model and refining its shapes. Like, for instance, if you guys at all saw the. Let's go back up to ZBrush, go to characters for fun. We'll go to Sailor Moon. If you guys saw my post from Instagram last week, you'll have seen like this little DreamWorks smirk. And there are some things about this shape wise that I really really like. And so I want to take this face shape, some of the things that I did to be able to kind of narrow out the jawline, things like that, and take that over and make that applied here. You can see there's some very, very subtle shape differences here. So we're just going to kind of play with it. It shouldn't take too long to do something like that. It's really just a matter of kind of checking it from different angles. It looks like some of the things that I did. Oops. Let's actually make sure that we're using the right brush. Kind of narrowing in the jaw a little bit. Pulling it up some. I think that's really pretty much it. I want to make sure that the shape from this angle too is kind of streamlined, so it's like kind of getting rid of a little bit of cheek here. Really, we're practically there. Yeah, I like that. I do think that it might be worthwhile to kind of eliminate some of this lower eyelid area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, let's grab that, and because one of the things that's happening is that because of the way that because of the way that this lower eyelid is so prominent, it kind of emphasizes an older age, and I don't really want it to emphasize an older age. I want her to feel youthful. I want her to feel a little bit different. So I'm going to take that, raise it up. I'm just going to smooth it out too. Go ahead Check that out. Looks pretty nice. I'm going to try to keep that masked. Okay, so let's see. We've got her face. Her face has been modified. I might actually want to kind of try to pinch a little bit of this to make it feel just a little bit more, like emphasize that cheekbone just a little bit. I guess I got a little bit of that cheekbone kind of pinch out here. And then it kind of fades out some, which is nice. One of the things that I wanted to do was get also like the nose, get the nose to feel like it's coming in the nostrils to come and terminate in the to come outside and go in. Do I make retopology inside of ZBrush? Yes, most of it. I really enjoy having everything go through ZBrush, and so yeah, most of what I do is all done inside of ZBrush. I'm going to try making a little bit of an adjustment here. Oh, come on, delete this. In fact, let's see, that might not be, let's do one up just to make sure. I'm pretty sure, yep, there's our loop going down, there's our loop going around. So what we want to do is we want to join those so that they're coming together. Currently, we might be able to just take this, oh shoot, why is it pivoting in the wrong spot? I'm going to say collapse polyloop. That's going to get rid of a loop in there, but it's going to take this so that this can kind of come up and transition to be going around the nostril. Yeah, so I'm showing some retopo tips inside of ZBrush right now. A lot of it's going to come down to just working with topology. Anytime you work with topology, it's retopology. I do crease the borders, so you can see, like, if I turn on my dynamic subdivisions, you see I've got this nice smooth crease, but it's a crease. Oops, don't do that, please. Okay. So we've got this, and then I want to take that and kind of merge it down. But I also want to go ahead and check and make sure that it's not creating, okay, good, it's going around there. So that's, now I just need to kind of even these edges out some, which isn't too big of a problem. I'll just go ahead and smooth it. But I'm going to want to, let's turn off RGB, turn down our Z intensity. And then just kind of even these out, cozy them on out. Get that smooth. All right. So yeah, the big thing that I really wanted was to make sure that I had a bit better of a flow to work with for the nose. So yeah, this is one thing that I do quite a lot, is using my Z modeler to be able to work around my topology. Another thing that I'll do quite often is, come on, you. Let's go ahead and get this kind of cozied out. The other thing that I'll use quite often to be able to make topology in the first place is the topology brush. I'll use that to get started, and then I'll use the Z modeler with like the extrude functions to be able to get everything to work you know, to be able to kind of extrude things out, be able to match to a surface, those sorts of things. I can probably show a little bit of that here in a minute, but a lot of what I was wanting to do was get this base mesh to work in a satisfactory way, and make sure that the lip didn't seal to the top of the mouth, which is awesome. I am going to add in an extra edge loop in here. And I'm going to say polygroup. I'm going to say, isn't there a group plus one? Maybe not. We'll say Control W. Get rid of this one, Control W. That way we have the two different polygroups there. And then we'll use the, this is great. Somebody taught me about this one a couple weeks ago, and it was amazing. So the move brushed radius, take that and boom, you know, just use that. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And then you just click on an edge and drag, and it just gives you this beautiful, beautiful fade wherever you click from. It only affects the poly loop, and it's amazing. Amazing. I'm gonna give her a little bit more fullness to the lip, and I feel like it's kind of coming out a little bit far. So we're just trying to art direct this, right? We're just trying to make sure that this feels a little bit more elegant, a little bit cuter. Okay, so this is going to make that a little bit wider. Make this a little bit more narrow here. And then maybe we'll kind of pull that so that it fades a little bit more there. All right, let's see. This nostril, I'm not a big fan of how it's kind of pointed down now. Oh boy, somebody's coughing. So what I want to do, let's kind of fix the bridge of the nose a little bit here too. Okay. I won't work on this for too long because I want to make sure that I can kind of get I want to get onto my Mother Earth character and kind of play with her a little bit more. I'm not the biggest fan of what I did going around the nose here. I kind of want to change that, but I don't want to affect the way that the loops coming from the eye are. This is not smooth enough, so let's just kind of even that out some. So yeah, the topology for that nose, it's very, very, very basic, but it works. This is something that, you know, if I wanted to get the topology that I want for this nose, I'm going to have to do a complete overhaul. I don't think I'm emotionally ready for that right now. Okay, let's go ahead. Oops, unmask that one too. Kind of smooth this out just a little bit. Okay, this is getting a little bit unclean, a little bit misshapen. So I'm just going to kind of play with that a little bit. Let me see. Hey, Catan, how you doing? I actually wonder if I were to take the front of the face and rotate it down. Let's turn off perspective so we don't mess up our symmetry. Just rotate it down a little bit. Feels a little bit better. Let's kind of mask that. Soften out our mask again. I mean, this is eliminating one of my I feel like it's kind of eliminating some of the shape design that we put into her at the beginning. So maybe it's a matter of taking this and pushing and pulling and kind of figuring out from where we're putting it now. It's like I don't want to give her duck lips, and that's something I'm trying to avoid. I don't want her nose to feel like too large, and so I'm trying to kind of make a balance of a lot of different things here. Let's kind of break some of these, get some flow change here on this particular, on the nose tip shape. She has too much of like everything kind of comes out super far, but the cheeks come back. So I wonder if it's a matter of just kind of pulling cheeks out, but then that's going to feel kind of, yeah, it's a balancing act, guys. It's a balancing act. I got something special in the mail that I can't wait to use. I just haven't gotten. Why am I? For some reason, I just got like a photo memory on my watch. Like I never get photo memories on my watch. Wonder if some setting changed. Gotta try to work these proportions around so that it feels. I don't think that this is feeling quite the way that I'd like. It's always so funny, like going through and trying different things like this with a model that I've already kind of worked to a state that I like. Yeah, let's try something like that. I'm just really trying to like push and pull and experiment with this now because I feel like there's a lot kind of going on that I want to push and simplify and streamline, and I feel like there's a lot going on that's feeling like it's going kind of the opposite direction of what I want to do. And so it's like I try to go ahead and push and pull things and work it out to who is this character? Oh, come on, Chris. Are you being facetious? So I'm trying to do. This is a Sailor Moon redraw that I did. Redraw. that I did back toward the beginning of the pandemic. And yeah, I'm just trying to do like an appeal pass on it and trying to make her feel just slightly different. But I think that everything I'm doing right now is not quite what I want. So I'm just trying to like push back and forth. Let's go ahead and grab that invert so we can see it. That's a little bit messy. I'm just going to take this and kind of smooth this out. It doesn't need to be like super dragged back into the throat. Let's turn this back and see if we can get something that feels... It is kind of a rare opportunity to catch me live, isn't it? Lately I've been doing kind of like every other week, just trying to avoid some burnout. Yeah, it's been kind of it's been fun. I do a lot at work, and so it's like trying to get an opportunity to rest and do something other than being on a computer has been different. I've been trying to go at streaming. Like streaming is one of those that's kind of an escapism sort of opportunity for me, where I get to sit down, I get to do my own projects, and you know it's something that I do for fun. It's great, but you know, in going through and even doing things for fun that you know match what it is that I do for work gets to be a little bit heavy. So I try to get a little bit better of a work-life balance by you know actually spending time with this family of mine that I have worked so hard to build and have and take care of, and so yeah, I mean it's all about trying to find that balance. It's been crazy town, banana pants since we moved. Haven't had much time to catch live streams. Oh, where'd you move to? Are you still doing like the exercises with who was it that you were doing the stream exercises with? Is this just something you've been doing on your own now, or you were doing it with one of the past streamers, weren't you? I feel like I need to de-emphasize the crease underneath the lip here. If I want to have it, maybe I need to have it, but like really, really subtle and way out. I think I like it better without it though. See, I feel like this is already starting to feel cuter, feel more appealing, and we've got a little bit better of a topology going in over here. I do feel like I don't particularly care for what's happening here. I think to fix that, what I could do, I'm going to say, let's get rid of this poly right here. I'm going to insert single edge loop right there. Oh, come on, you. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Once the dust settles. That's totally cool. Spicer, that's right. That's right. North Carolina. Oh, My wife has always like dreamed of moving to North Carolina. um, they got some nice houses out there, and it's a lot less expensive than LA. Super green, right? Oh, let's go ahead, put in that extra edge loop here. I'm going to say stitch to midpoint, bridge edges. Oh, come on. I feel like it doesn't want to like hit the points that I want to hit, and it's so rude. Control W to be able to make sure that that's its own polygroup. And I do want to take, actually, let's take this, since we're here, right? Might as well. I want to take these, and I want to make them separate polygroups so that I can control the nose. This way I can kind of like isolate this and, you know, make it something worth looking at. Something easier to work with, right? And this puts this little 5-pointed star a little bit off of the nose, so that way it's just a little bit easier to work with. At work, we have a base mesh that we work with, so I don't have to worry about like topology. All that topology is already worked out for me. So it's just a matter of going through and controlling the topology, making it do what I need it to do. And so what I do is it's got pretty nice flow for a very anatomical sort of character. Oh, I wish that I had block out for this character on here. I don't think because like this is my first time opening her up on this stream. I have another character, one that I did for the whatchamadiggit, for this sculpt off, for the live sculpt off a couple of years back. Let me see if I can get slide edge loop partial. It's like I feel like I've got too many. Let's say insert single edge loop. Let's get rid of that edge loop right there. I just felt like there were too many. So let's take this. Sorry, grab that, grab that, grab that, grab that. Oh, it didn't work. That. Okay, that's better. That's closer to what I wanted. Oh, nerds. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we got this. Okay. And then we'll just kind of even this out a little bit. That'll be a little bit better, a little bit easier to work with. Yeah. Okay. Getting some much better flow in here. All right. That's nicer. That's much nicer. There'll probably be some cleanup here along the nose bridge and things like that I need to work out, but we can like start off by evening out the topology a little bit more. I'm trying to consider, if I clean this up in a way that I feel good with it, I'll probably make the base mesh available that you guys can go and buy, probably on my on Gumroad and the ArtStation marketplace, on Flip Normals, on Flip Normals too. It's actually been my marketplace of choice. I really appreciate Henning and Morton and the rest of their team. I feel like they do a really good job at curating a really special kind of marketplace there. Yeah, just trying to fix that flow, fix that surface a little bit. I don't know. Let's see if that's working. That feels better. The cheek is feeling a little bit droopy right there, so I'm wanting to try to. It's like I'm trying with like all these different shapes to make it feel very. Let's kind of smooth that out, and then we'll just make a new peak here. Let me see, Control Shift S, and then we'll say Control A. Mask that out. Mask that out, and then I'm just going to take my pinch brush and just run it along there. Especially here toward the back, where I want it to feel a little bit more pinched. And we'll kind of control these points one by one here too, but that'll help to get us a little bit more of a crease in these here parts. Yeah, let's do it here on the edge of the ear as well, so that way it kind of continues it and it falls off. So you can see that's creating like this subtle ridge right along there. Oh, I don't want a folder. No, stop it. Right down along here, I'm going to try to smooth this out some so that it feels a little bit less prominent. Just trying to subtly make that shape kind of continue down, but it just won't be as prominent. It won't be as sharp. Although I am getting a little bit too sharp of some sort of transition coming through here, so I'm just going to try to ease that out a little. It feels like it's working. I know it's like it's all super subtle, and I don't know if it's something that's super easy to see across the stream, but I can see it. A lot of what I'm doing is really just it's literally just a matter of making sure that these points are getting the real estate that they need to live happily under the sea. And I'm liking that a lot better. She has a little bit more of like a designed look to her. There's a lot left to really make her feel like she's, you know, really like super complete, but you know, she's working. She's working pretty well. Take that up a little bit. It feels a little bit better. I like that. A little bit more open of eyes there. I'm gonna grab the inside corner here. Kind of pull it up a little bit, just to kind of streamline that shape a little bit. And yeah, that got a little bit messy through here. I'm just gonna try to ease that out a little bit. I'm going to try to actually round out the top edge of the eyelid. It's getting a little bit too out of control there. It just feels a little bit too sharp, and it feels like it's too hard to control through there. So I'm just wanting to try to ease that some. And kind of smooth out some of these shapes through here. And then if I want to be able to control that crease again, I can easily do that. I just want to make sure that these edges are just feeling a little bit better. I feel like I have a little bit too much definition through here, so I'm just going to get rid of a couple of these edge loops. That's maybe too much. I went too far. That'll work. Let's go ahead and change this to move brush radius like we'd been doing earlier. We'll just pull that up, pull that up, pull that up. I love that tool, guys. I can't believe that I didn't know about it before, and I'm so grateful that you guys taught me about it. This is why we stream. It's community. Okay, let's kind of even this out a little bit. This out some. It feels so much better. There we go. Yes. Oh, that got a little bit messy. Oh. Yeah, it'll be just a matter of kind of pushing some of these points together and whatnot. But, man, I feel like my tablet and my computer are not wanting to work together perfectly. It's not quite letting me control the points the way that I want to, which is kind of a pain. So it's just kind of a matter of bouncing back and forth until I get the point to settle where I want it to. Good grief. Sometimes my keyboard gets a little bit sticky too, so it's like if my S key, if I hit my S key to be able to get my size slider open, it's like it just doesn't want to it doesn't want to actually access the slider. It's just like, oh, I'll pull it up for you. Sure, you look at it, it's pretty, but I'm going to do this other thing over here. I feel like the lips are a bit too pursed. So one of the things that I'll do, I'm going to try to open up this top lip a little bit. Just like this top edge over here, give it a little bit more real estate, you know? Not a ton, but a little bit. Smooth it out some so that it feels a little bit more. Let's turn on transparency so we can select this stuff. Make it so that the lips don't taper together too tightly. I think maybe that might be the sort of thing that we need to work out here. Yeah, let's go ahead and select that, and then we'll kind of soften it out from there. I feel like it's getting too sharp in the middle, and then it's like it's not getting enough flesh kind of coming out to the ends. So I think it's a matter of just kind of tweaking back and forth what it is that we have. Kind of soften that in both directions so we can get a little bit more soft and gradual of a transition. The topology up here isn't behaving, so let's kind of fix that. I might have to go through and even these out at some point. I'm not going to worry about it at this moment. Here, you know what? I'm going to take this portion of the lips and I'm going to try just turning them. Now it feels like there's a little bit too much expression, so just kind of tone that down a little bit. Mouth feels a little bit high, don't you think? Sun's getting real low, big guy. Speaking of big guy, anybody watch She-Hulk? Thought it was kind of funny. That feels better. That feels much, much better. I think the neck feels a little bit too wide up here. Kind of play with getting that nice and streamlined. And maybe it's just a matter also like taking these trapezius muscles and kind of boosting them just a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of what she's looking like right now. I think I want to have that jawline kind of be a little bit more straight, so I'm just kind of like tweaking that a little bit here so that it's got a more streamlined shape. And I'm gonna call that good for right now. I do want to get back to in fact, I don't remember if I have her open or not. Hey, Leonard. Hey, Prashan. What are some of the things you consider when stylizing faces shape-wise? So basic shape language are things like, having like the, round shapes, square shapes, triangular shapes. And each shape is going to give you a different feel, and especially if you combine the if you combine round shapes with angular shapes, you can create something that has a lot of like dynamicism, feel very dynamic, right? And that could be in a dangerous kind of way. It could be in like an athletic kind of way. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to combine some and I feel like maybe she's a little bit too angular here in the cheeks. Maybe like take that peak and lower it down a little bit. Yeah, something like that. So what I'm trying to accomplish, sorry, the parrots outside. It's kind of the funny thing about this area, close to Pasadena, where we have parrots in the wild. Yeah, they live here. There's a horde of like hundreds of parrots, and they live in the trees around here, so it's like they're always squawking and squealing, and you can always hear them. I'm gonna try to change the angle of my blinds so that I'm not so washed out there. But yeah, so it's the combination of those shapes that's going to really make a character feel one way or another. One of the things that I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to use like the round shapes to help her to feel youthful, and appealing and approachable. But then I'm also trying to use sharp shapes to help emphasize that she's kind of an adult teenager sort of age, like an old like young college or old high school sort of thing going on there, and also to help emphasize her heroic nature as Sailor Moon, right? So a lot of that I try to think about those sorts of shapes with this particular character. There are other things that you could do. Like if I wanted to make her, cuter, we could look at like different proportion changes. I quite like how she's working, so I'll probably leave her about how she is. I'm going to smooth out this chin just a little bit, though. Give it a little bit of a... That's a little bit too much. Let's lower that Z intensity a little bit more, just so we can kind of sneak up on that a little bit better. Yeah, something more like that. So yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of soften out the jaw back here in the back just a little bit more. So it'll still kind of keep its shape from a silhouette standpoint from over here, because it's coming out so far. But the hope is to get a little bit of a transition. Let's kind of ease that out a little bit too. Is to get a little bit more of a transition from like a soft to a sharper point here at the chin. You can see like that edge transition. The edges are closer together, and they're creating more of a formed peak, whereas back here they're a little bit faded out, and it helps to kind of round out that shape. Kind of helps with that friendly nature. It also helps with a little bit of her age too, so it's kind of nice. That's something that I've been really super grateful for, actually, with my job, my art director. He really likes playing with edges and making edges feel, so like they come and they fade. And so a lot of what I'm trying to accomplish now in my personal work is, in to a great extent reflective of what it is that I'm learning as I'm working with my current art director. So I'm just going to try to work out some of those things here. Trying to get a little bit of like a crease over here. Let's kind of fade that a little bit. It's a little bit too crooked. let's kind of use our move brush and kind of pull it around a little bit more. But you can see like the edges are getting, the points are getting closer together right here, and they're kind of, well, they're further apart out here at the outside. So this is going to be softer, and this is going to be a little bit sharper. I do want to kind of boost the crease here. Make that a little bit. Thank you, Steve. 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 Carabis. What's the software I'm working in? I'm working in ZBrush. This channel, this YouTube channel, is the Pixelogic channel. So this is their official ZBrush. Yeah, it's the official ZBrush Live channel. So yeah, there are a lot of different people who stream here on this channel, and you'll see periodically in the chat there will be different bots posting about different presentations that'll be coming up. So for instance, the last one that it posted was an Ask ZBrush Live with Paul and Ian. I forget Ian's last name, but it's Paul Gabry from Pixelogic, and Ian's also from Pixelogic. They're both great, super friendly, very knowledgeable of ZBrush. So you got ZBrush questions. Paul and Ian have the answers. Ask them in the live chat on August 23rd at 11 a.m. That looks like that'll be on Tuesday. It's pretty fun. I really appreciate the ZBrush community. I feel like they do a really good job. Pixelogic does a really good job at creating a culture, and a culture where people can come together and celebrate creativity and ask questions and learn together, and it's awesome. There just aren't communities like that. Ian Robinson, thanks, Leonard. Yeah, Ian Robinson. It's like, I knew it. I just now I'm embarrassed. Poor guy. Ian, you are worth remembering. Just remember that. Poor dude. I just want to kind of take the size of this cranium and just kind of pull it in some. I feel like it's a little bit too bulbous. Turn off the dynamic for the move brush. I want to take the shape of this skull on the back, and we'll just kind of move it in some. Grab the area behind the ears, pull it in some. Come on, you turn off dynamic. All right. Just trying to push and pull and massage these things into place, and then cozy on them out. Cozy them on out. So that we get nice, smooth, even topology, at least to some extent. A lot of this stuff, it's going to be covered up by the hair, but it's helpful to have a good head form underneath the hair, because it allows me to better control the shape of the hair, make it make sense, you know. I love how like earlier I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave this here, and now I'm still with it. I do that a lot. I need to change the autosave. Is there anything like landmark or an easy guideline for face topology for animation? Define easy. Yeah, so there are some definite topology landmarks that you want to be mindful of, but they're not necessarily like it's not going to be the same topology every time. Um, Generally speaking, like so for instance, I work at Marvel, and what we do is we have a base mesh that we work from, and we create all of our characters from the same base mesh. And what that allows us to do is to keep, well, it allows a lot of things for like rigging and animation and things like that. Um, so that, you know, it just simplifies and automates some of the process. So you can share blend shapes, you can share textures, you can share all sorts of things, right? You can share rigging information. But one of the things that's really important to understand is how to get a flow that works for whatever your surface is. Topology is just going to describe your shapes, and it's really important to just understand that principle. And so having topology that can be easily and cleanly deformed. For instance, like, you know, around the mouth, I have this this sort of series of edge loops. I kind of go in that sort of. Let me kind of mark that just to be able to show it so that you can see more about what it is that I'm talking about. This allows me to get like a good crease kind of going around the mouth and the nose, for when I do like little scrunchy shapes like that. I can get like the ways that the eyes, the loops flow around the eyes help, so that, you know, get like an accordion motion. Like the points are going to move toward and away from each other in a straight line as those eyelids close. And so what we want to have is, you want to have like these edges that kind of just like like closing down around those eyes. And so by having edge flow that goes just right directly around the eyelid, it makes it so that it has the two that can just kind of open and close together as it's going around that eyeball. Same thing around the lips. Same continuous edge loop kind of going around the edge, the lips. Starting from the outside, you know, the edge corner, where I can define the shape of those lips, and then all the way through to the inside of the mouth bag. You know, just the way that I define the flow is how things go. And then for everything else, like around these the cheeks, you know, just like a simple grid sort of pattern to help define a simple planar shapes. You know, it doesn't have to be super complicated. If you do have a character that you're wanting to try to define in a different way, then you'll want to figure out how you want to control your topology to make certain shapes happen. Like for instance, if you look at, let me see if I can pull it up. I actually don't know if she has topology of this model up or not, but this is a really good example. What's new in Chrome? Okay. ArtStation. You guys are probably familiar with Leticia Gillette. Yes, sign me in. Okay. Leticia Gillette. Oh, come on, you were right there. There we are. Where you is, girl? Okay. It's like these characters are super awesome. This character is amazing. And this is a VizDev model, so it looks like she probably doesn't have the topology on here. But one of the things that you can see in studying this particular character are things like the edges. You can see how like the bottom of that nose, there's a very specific plane going along there. You can see there's a very specific plane change here with like the front of the lip, with the bottom of the jaw. You can see just based off of how the light's playing off of it, and if you study it through these images here, you know, you can go ahead and you can see just how very clean and defined those shapes are. In order to hold those shapes, you want to definitely have edge loops kind of going along there and being able to control and define those things. So these edge loops, they may possibly, I mean, granted, I don't know if this even has edge loops. This might be just a pure art model and not even have topology at all. Sorry, I've got rubbish all over my desk. Been working on some toys in my spare time, and so I'm trying to like clean things up, and it's just a little bit messy. So you'd likely have like some edge loops that kind of come down here, and like they help to form the peak, this peak right here, this apex in the crease of the nasolabial fold here, and then they kind of fan out and like get evenly distributed down into the mouth, and then come down and form around the jaw or something like that. You know, it's hard to know for sure, but you know, that's kind of what I would read. So you get something like that kind of comes down around the jaw, and it goes down around the other side, goes back up and comes out. You know, loops going around the eye to be able to form that eye bag, the eyelid, up over the top of the eyelid, you know, those sorts of things. So you get this continuation, and the closeness of those points are going to help to define the crispness of the lines. Mini Chicks Studio, how you doing? ZZ, hello there. I want to ask, why do you make all the parts separate polygroups? So separate polygroups allow me to make, I don't know if you work with selection sets at all, but it's a really great way for me to be able to quickly select things. I can hide things. I can you know, shrink, and I can grow. You know, lots of different things that I can do, and I can very quickly and easily select polygroups, and I get to control what it is that happens with my mesh very quickly and very easily. It's very helpful for areas like around the nose, around the mouth, around the ears, the eyes. There are some other polygroups that I have defined as well for like ease of use with like the arms, the hands, the fingers. Sometimes I'll get down into like the feet and the toes as well. I just haven't with this particular character yet. But yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I really like working with good clean topology. I'm going to go ahead and add a resolution layer here. Just want to make sure real quick that I'm not losing any, like that I don't have any points accidentally merging together, because that might be something that I'd have to go in and fix inside of Maya if I do. It looks good. Looks like it's keeping all the points separate. I'm not getting any accidental merging. That's something that gets really kind of painful. All right. So yeah, that's kind of what she's looking like so far. In this second hour, I think what I want to do is open up. Yeah, you see, like this is the character design that I had done last week, or like the facial expression that I had done for my Gnomon class last week. And I just wanted to kind of get some of the nuances in there of what's going on with like the face planes and things like that. Some of the proportion changes to the jaw and things like that. I feel like I like where she's at a little bit better than where she was, which is good. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this. We're going to forget about her now. I want to dig back into... Actually, I think it was inside of the Summit folder. Yeah, it's in the Summit folder. Let me see, Man and Moon, Mother Earth. I need to make like an old folder and kind of hide some things. So what I want to do, I want to finish this character out, make her nice. Currently, let's go ahead and line these feet up. I'm going to say, let's merge this down to the shoes just so that we can pose them together. And actually, for the sake of simplicity, oh here, turn off symmetry, hide that, split hidden. I'm going to do each foot separately. Okay, go ahead and mask that out. Take this, rotate it some so that it fits underneath that leg. And it's going to be a matter of taking these parts and kind of posing them so that they line up with the legs. I'm gonna have to try to see at what stage do you pose the character. It depends. It's a great question. And quite honestly, it changes depending on what it is that I'm working on. If I'm working on something like my Sailor Moon character, she's still in T-pose, and I haven't posed this particular version of her. Although I have gone through and used her as a posing demo. Let me show you. For classes at Nomen. Oh, it looks like I must have put the good gravy. Why is it taking so long to? I guess you can kind of see like the pose there, but I want to see if I can find like an actual screenshot, the actual image of the pose, because that's lame. Yeah, I guess I'll just pull this up. So one of the things that I'll do is that I'll keep it all in like a T-pose until I want to pose it. Oh, what is? No, I didn't want the PSD. Why you don't want PSD? Okay, the stream's going to get really cloggy here in a minute. Shoot. Dang it. Yeah, because the stream doesn't like to run multiple graphics intensive softwares at a time. Good gravy. Let's see if I can close this. Dang it. Dang it. Close Photoshop. Now I got to be more careful about what it is that I open. Man, come on. It always happens to me. Yeah. Well, it's like it doesn't want to finish loading, and it doesn't want to close down, and it's... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's fine. I'm not worried about you right now, Photoshop. Good gravy. Let's see. Okay, good. There we go. I think now we're back in business. Is this a JPEG? Please be a JPEG. Are you going to show me anything? JPEG. Awesome. Okay. Now I can show. So yeah, I did this as like a posing demo. I did like the facial expression, and then yeah, I've got a ton of unfinished models. um, Unintended entertainment. I'm glad you're enjoying my suffering. So yeah, went through and kind of used the this character as part of some different posing demos at Nomen, where I went through and I used the face one week, and then I did the body the next week. It was it's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's one of those things where generally speaking, I keep the body in this sort of neutral pose as long as possible. I'm going to take this actually and move that down. Grab all those little clothing pieces that I made for this particular piece. Okay, so I don't have. I got a few though. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to grab these pieces like this. Deselect the body, deselect the hair, and we're going to make it just those pieces. I'm going to hit Control F. Several visible subtools are currently activated for multi-transpose. Would you like to create a new folder containing these subtools? Yes. Clothing demo. Just for the sake of moving those off into their own folder. So now I should be able to, let's select the boots, turn on the clothes. So that way we've got our, classic Sailor Moon back, which is really kind of fun, being able to go back and forth. I still need to make some sort of shorts or something for her. I think it'd be fun to have like that color red shorts. Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and save it one more time, just because when you make changes like that, it's life or death if you don't save it. But so far as for this character, she was made for a 3-hour sculpt. So like everything from the pants up through the head, I was all done in 3 hours, and we've gone through since then, and we've done like some additions to the hair. Made the hair a lot more complex and detailed. We've added the hands, and we've made the hands and arms, like rough topology. This is just ZRemesher topology, so it's not nearly as clean as like our Sailor Moon hands, for instance. Although we could go through if we wanted to and take the Sailor Moon topology and use that to make some really good hands. I'm not going to worry about it too much though. So we've got that. We've got our other hand here in this sort of pose. Pretty nice. Okay. Got our globe in here. But yeah, this is what I did for the ZBrush sculpt off. So this was just 3 hours. So I made it in pose, and it was insane. But it was a lot of fun. This is one of those exercises that I absolutely love, is being able to participate in the ZBrush sculpt off. I did it once when it was live and in person, and then I've done it like the two times that it's been virtual as well. So yeah, really, really fun. Thank you, Faisal. I'm glad you like it. So yeah, I think a lot of what I want to be able to accomplish with this is creating kind of a sense of that she's like standing on this foot. Yeah, that she's, and I think it might need a little bit of reshaping here. It's like the forms aren't quite right. Okay, let's go ahead and bring back this other foot. In fact, I'm just gonna say delete this one. Delete. Brought those in as like an example, and I think I might have used the sole to be able to build out the shoes. That's fine. Control Shift D. Say deformation, mirror. The reason I wanted to kind of duplicate this out and mirror it instead of just modifying the one that I already had was that I wanted to you know what? It could be cool to take that leg and kind of make it so that it's swinging back some more, and so she's got that foot up on more of like the ball of her foot, and that heel's kind of lifted a little bit. I'll do that. ZRemesher is a cheating tool. It's not a cheating tool. It's a tool, and it depends on what you're using it for. It's not something that'll give you final topology. You're right. You should learn manual retopology, and just because this isn't a project that I'm wanting to take into animation or rigging or anything else. So having just the Z modeler, the ZRemesher, works just fine for my needs for this particular project. I worry about clean topology all the time. It's so funny. Everybody calls it cheating. I don't know why everybody calls it cheating. I'm going to kind of rotate that foot out a little bit. Because ZRemesher actually can get you some decent topology, and depending on what you're making, it could be your final topology. For instance, I use it a lot when I am creating like hard surface pieces. And a lot of times I can get ZRemesher to cooperate just enough to create hard surface pieces that are actually my final pieces. Like I've got a piece that I'll be working on soon for work that will be a primarily hard surface piece, and I'll be using some Z modeler or ZRemesher for it. Yeah, definitely no hate from me on ZRemesher. Let's turn off the dynamic on that. I wish that the dynamic could be like a bigger button. I'd have to make a macro for it though. And I don't want to. Let's go ahead and kind of push and pull this. Let me see. Do the polygroups also be useful in trying to animate 3D? No. The polygroups are really just useful selection sets inside of ZBrush. Yeah, they're just useful selection sets inside of ZBrush. The thing that oh shoot, I didn't want that. Just kind of take that and kind of move it back so that it's bit sharper. And actually we'll probably take this leg. Come on, you. You know what? Let's go ahead and we'll get up to there. Let's make that a different polygroup. So just the way this way I can just have it as a quick and easy selection set, right? I'm going to take. Oh, you know what? Let's do one for the other leg as well. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to call that good. Control W. Cool. What I want to do is I want to get this leg so that it feels like it's more underneath the body. And I'm going to use my transpose line to do that. Just grab that, just kind of shift it over a little bit. And then with this other leg, kind of soften that mask out a little bit here too. I'm going to take it and shift it back the other way. I'm just using the move on the transpose line. It's super helpful. If you've not played with it, I super recommend playing with it because it is such an amazing, simple little tool, but it's so helpful. Oops. Invert my mask, please. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to try to get a little bit more of like a gesture to her legs. Maybe I'll take this knee and kind of shove it out just a little bit further. It's kind of hard with the colors that we have right now, so I'm going to get rid of all my colors just so that we don't have to worry about color kind of blinding us from what it is that we need to see. And I kind of push that over there. Gonna pull this over here a little bit. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to like lose my form at all. I want to make sure that it feels like it's not losing its shape, like it's retaining its shape. Yeah, let me see. I was taught there is no cheating in sculpture. Whatever gets the job done. Yeah, for sculpture, yeah, there's it's all about, you know, taking things and pushing them together. Like in traditional sculpture with clay, you'll get different, you use different pieces to be able to create different patterns on your thing. So like sometimes some sculptors will go through and they will create molds, if you will. I forget what they're called. But essentially like these stamps that you can go ahead just using natural patterns. So like if you wanted to be able to make a nice wood grain pattern, I've seen people take like a whole sheet of like silicone and just make a silicone stamp by pouring silicone over the surface of like some natural wood to get the wood texture, to get the grain. And then once it's cured, you peel it off and you've got this wood stamp that you can just kind of mold around your sculpture to be able to get wood grain on clay. We do a ton of that sort of stuff with ZBrush too. I think that's one of the nice things is that it's flexible. It allows you to do that sort of stuff. So yeah. What is the most important and toughest thing to plan before making a character model? Sharath, I think you keep adding in exclamation points instead of question marks, and I'm confused. So the most important and toughest thing to plan before making a character model. Really, I think the toughest thing is always just getting the design to work in 3D, there's always a matter of taking. She feels like she's leaning forward too much. Maybe I need to kind of tilt her back some. Do that in a second. So a lot of what I feel like is the toughest, especially if you're working from an existing design, like a 2D design, is getting something like the what's it called? the essence, getting the proportions and things like that really nailed, and let me see, let's go down to preferences, quick save, change this to 60, restoration, that should be fine. That way I don't have to worry about being interrupted too much with it anymore. Hey, gorgeous. I'm just gonna stand her more upright. You know what? Let's also take her and kind of tilt her back the other direction just a little bit so that she feels like she's got a little bit of. There we go. That feels a little bit more natural. In fact, I wonder if I were to I want to open up her pose a little bit more. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take her upper body and I'm just going to kind of rotate it around a little bit. Okay, just so that she is kind of, you know, facing in a different direction than where her legs are. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's turn this off. I'm going to grab this arm. Let's mask out. Here, let's see. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. I'm going to grab this arm and I'm going to rotate it out some, just to kind of open up that pose a little bit. And maybe what I'll do is I'll also take it and kind of pull that hand down some so that it's not quite so elevated. Kind of fix some things with the gesture on that arm. But yeah. Kind of move the globe over there a little bit more. And then let's fix the pants so that they fit her new pose. Kind of boost up her hip there a little bit. And then try to bring the shirt to match it. The shirt is like not super awesome topology, but it's not super terrible either. It's usable. It's just not very lightweight. So it'll be one of those things that I either have to fix later. I don't know how that got messed up. Well, let's go ahead and we'll fix it then. Take that and boom, and we'll move it in. Shoot. I think I lost track of what it is that I was saying. Hopefully it didn't matter too much. Let's go ahead and kind of emphasize that elbow just a smidge. All right. Now we can go ahead, we can pose those those feet with a little bit. Minty, dude. How you doing, Mikkel? I assume it's you. I assume that's you. You're the only Minty I know. We're I don't know that I saw your stuff that you're doing with Bing Bong. Did you use the herringbone to be able to create like the fur pattern? Is that what you're talking about there, Leonard? Looking good, man. Do you ever just use ZBrush or Retopo, or do you do that elsewhere? I mostly do my 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 topology inside of ZBrush. Um, yeah, it's easily my favorite tool for that sort of stuff. Um, but then for some of the tighter areas, sometimes I'll go through and I'll do some finishing inside of Maya. Um, just makes things really easy. Thanks, man. For the jacket, huh? Let me see. I'm trying to think. Now. Oh, I can't see because the sun's starting to actually come out. Uh, get the right get the right thing. It's so funny, like realizing who the actors are behind the scenes. Oh, do you use it to be so? Like, I guess it has like kind of a woven. It's kind of hard to see. It's not a very high resolution image, but he's got kind of like a what's that pattern called? Like a Burberry coat. Um, yeah, super cool. Super cool. That's interesting. That's interesting. I wish that I could. I wish I could have seen that because that's probably really super fascinating to have worked on. Who's your friend that likes to play bing bong bing bong? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take this. That top part's already kind of hidden inside of the legs, so I'm just going to mask that out. Oh, it looks like it's only kind of partly inside of the leg. Let's kind of switch it back so that it's more inside. Get that leg to kind of match up with that ankle. Oh, so you're not talking about like okay, so you're saying the pattern is called herringbone. Okay. I was understanding like you were using a herringbone to like the bone of a herring, like a fish. It's like, how do you use? Like, I guess you could. I mean, you could use that as a stamp. You could stamp that all day long. That's awesome. It's at the candy shop at Pixar Pier. Well, I'll be there today, so I'll go check it out. I'll go check it out, and I will post a picture onto my stories. I'm going to. I gotta remember this, so I'm gonna screenshot. Okay. I will post it to my stories on Instagram for anybody else who wants to see the beautiful, inspirational work of Mr. Leonard Yee. Yeah, it's awesome. That's one of the things that I super miss from Imagineering is being able to see the awesome stuff in the model shop. Um, easily one of the biggest highlights to my career so far is working with the amazing talents at Imagineering. It was awesome. Ooh, something that could be cool is that is having her heel lifted, but then having the heel out of the shoe. Let's kind of turn that foot to better match the leg. Grab that. Here, actually, let's do this. Control Shift A. Oh, did it melt together? Oh, I see. I see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to invert that, and then we can invert that. So that now we can go ahead and we can pose this foot. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, in fact, we'll be heading there after this, so it's pretty exciting. Patrick did all this sculpting. Patrick's a stud. I figured out how to laser the stamps and templates. I thought it was going to kill me. Well, it's like you get this sculpt and it's all done and it's beautiful. And he does a lot of he likes to do a lot of texturing by hand if I remember right. And so it's just kind of funny. I can totally picture Mr. Simmons being really nervous about that stuff going together in that way, especially. You know what, let's do something like this. Control Shift A, we're going to do that. I'm going to mask that, give it its own polygroup. Let's do, let's do this. We'll Control Shift X, Control W, just to make sure that that's its own polygroup. Let's see if I can line this up more or less with the leg here. Get this coming up. I wonder, might need to go ahead and grab this right here. Actually, let's go ahead and make sure that stays nice and masked. Kind of rotate this up more. Maybe not that much. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take this and we will push this back, round it around the corner there. So that way it becomes like a little bit more of like this hidden detail, but it's still a detail and still part of the character. One of the things I'm trying to look at is whether or not the legs are the same length. They don't feel like they're quite the same length. So it's going to be a matter of kind of taking this and just kind of moving that up some. Okay, so now we can grab this and we can start to really mush this around. You had to do that a lot on a lot of it. Yeah, I bet. Check out the cable knit on the sadness figure. Same shop over there, Pixar Pier. I'm trying to remember if I've seen the sadness figure, if I've noticed. Pixar Pier isn't a spot that I've put a ton of attention to, though that's going to change. It feels like I don't like the bend right there, so I'm going to try to ease that out a little bit, make it a little bit straighter. See if I can get some like straight versus curve here. See if that works for me. If it doesn't, then we'll see about fixing it. But in the very least, it gets us a little bit more shape there. Let's see if we can get this to round out some more. Sorry, hold on, give me a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's turn everything back on. Okay, so now that I have these things kind of together here, I'm going to take them and say, I want to say split to parts. Okay, we'll say leg right. Shoe right. Come down here, same thing, split to parts. Leg left. Shoe left. Now we just need to worry about these things kind of, working. Getting it to feel like it's working with the pose. Get that to be a little bit more streamlined there, maybe. Because I want it to feel like it's kind of a soft material, so it's so it's changing based on the pose, right? It's kind of connecting with that heel a little bit. I think I'm going to need to take this. Let's grab these two things here. Okay. I'm going to take these and let's say, zero out the rotation a little bit and let's kind of pull it. That's not really working. Kind of pull that heel around a little bit. It might just be one of those things that I just dismiss as an oh well. What you need, miss?
I need to turn my key.
Okay, I'm going to call that a good enough. And I think what I might do with the shoe, since it's still, a shoe and it's still kind of attached to that foot, I'm going to actually take a little bit of this, just kind of rotate it a little bit, maybe kind of pull on it a little bit so that it feels a little bit different, Let's go ahead and add some creasing. Let's say crease PG. Let's try this out and see if I like that transition there. And I feel like I do. I like that. I'll keep it. Let's kind of extend it out just a little bit further. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can go ahead and we can say dynamic subdivisions. We've got that fine. I'm going to add some thickness to it so that it feels more substantial. .02. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go ahead. I'm just going to turn on dynamic, turn on that thickness so I can show you 0.02. So I can show you more or less what's happening. So you can see like it, I mean, there's a, let's turn off the colors for a second. You can see there's like this nice subtle sort of edge right in there. And I really, really like that. And I like how it starts off pretty harsh and then it kind of tapers down at the toe. So what I want to do, let's go ahead and we're going to take that. We're going to say crease PG on this too. You can see how that adds an instant like plussing of those forms in there. It holds down that sole. Everything's working pretty nicely with this, so I'm happy with that. And we'll just kind of keep it like that for now. These, if I can get these to work, I'm going to add in a few bits of resolution here. Okay, it's not open on the top. That's what I thought. Insert multiple edge loops. Keep polygroup flat. Do something like that. Go over to the other leg. Same thing. So now we've got our legs. Let's turn on our dynamic smooth so that we can get that going. And I'm not a huge fan of like how flat the feet are, so that might be something that we fix at some point. But for now I'm gonna call her good. So yeah, we can chat. If you guys have questions, I'll answer questions, and we'll call it a day. Boost this up one more just to be able to get a smoother hair. I like it. I like it so much. You know what? Maybe while I finish up these last 10 minutes, we can go ahead and we can add an end to this ponytail. We got to fix the ponytail positioning anyway. So let's take. That's so fun. I think what I want to do is let's grab some of these little groups over here. I'll leave those for now. Oh, actually, let's grab that hair base too. Oh shoot, I totally spaced it. Let's go ahead and mask that out, give it its own poly group, and then I'm just going to mask that, bring everything back, invert that mask. Control T. Let's get all these pieces to work together. We don't need that active, but what we do need, oh, you know what? We do need this active. Let me check just to make sure. Yep, that is masked. Okay. So what we want to do is we're going to bring this over. It's going to be intersecting with her bum a little bit there for now. Oh, I didn't want that. Let's go ahead and mask that out. Cool. Just to make sure that I only have the pieces selected that I want to have selected. Let's see. So I'm going to have to work on how to resolve this bit right here. It might be just a matter of... Let me see. It might be a matter of maybe just taking this piece here and kind of pulling it up. It's all conceptual, so it's like we're making it up as we go anyway. Something kind of like that. Maybe I'll pull this down a little bit to meet it some. Okay. So now what we can do, I'm going to use my transpose stuff. I'm going to use the rotate one. We're just going to hold R and just kind of rotate, or hold Alt and rotate that some. Now with the move transpose line, I can kind of swing that out a little bit. Hold Alt, kind of swing it out a little bit. And I can probably use like a little bit of a rotational change there too. That way it helps to kind of preserve the volumes a little bit better. About to make some breakfast, dude. Bon appetit. Say hi to Maisha. Same thing here. I'm gonna start off. Let's rotate. Oh, sorry. Hold Alt, please. There we go. W, Alt, boom, something like that. And then get a little bit more of the rotation this way. W, pull that out. And now what I can do, oh, let's get it to kind of come back a little bit. It's a little bit too far. Yeah, and that's feeling pretty decent. Some things to kind of like push and pull around and have fun with. Okay, so now we've got that. Got 5 more minutes and we can add in a little bit of a whoosh to the end of her ponytail. Oh shoot. So with the end of her ponytail, let's go ahead. I'm going to see about using, let's do this. I have a fur brush that I've put together. So let's see about doing this. Boom. Instant hair. We'll say split unmasked points. Make sure that we have that selected. We'll go back into our gizmo. So we've got this one here. We can just control, click, and drag to be able to make a different selection. It's not going to be the same color, and that's fine. We can make it the same color. I'm going to take this, kind of alt twist it the other direction. little bit more of a, have it bow more in the other direction. Yeah, IMM brushes are easily one of my favorite tools inside of ZBrush. Let's go ahead and duplicate that out. Let's grab our fur clump brush again. Let's see if we can get something in here that works for us. It's fun. I made this this fur clump brush starting with like a Krampus design that I did a few years back for Christmas. I think I might need to simplify some of these shapes, but it'll come out. It'll happen. And turned out really cool, but I wanted to be able to add in some really like gnarly matted fur, and so I made this this fur brush as a way to be able to kind of address my needs for that sort of thing. Let's go ahead, MRGB color, please, fill object. There we go. Now we just need to kind of unify some of these clumps. Bring this together, bring this out, something like that. It's working. But yeah, so I've made it since I made it for that, and I've used it on a few projects since then. I was really happy with something that I did with it at work, but they decided to kind of change directions on me, so I was a little bit disappointed. Sad because I feel like it totally nailed the look. It totally nailed it. I was like, yes, I got it. Have a fun day today. I gave my nephew and fiance. Is it your nephew's fiance? Anyway, to go today, look for a younger, taller version of me. That's funny. See if I can get this to kind of wrap up here in the next couple of minutes. Just kind of want to change the way that these line up so that they're not so they're not perfectly aligned. Try to fill out the back a little bit by pulling out these back points. Pull these out too. His fiance. That's kind of what I assumed. But I was like, Leonard, you have a fiance? Congratulations. I'd have been happy for you. I'd have celebrated for you, you know, with you. But yeah. All right. I think this is going to be about as finished as this little clump is going to be. I think it feels like it's quite a bit bigger than I feel like I want it to be. Let's try shrinking it down some. And then I want to kind of play with the gesture a little bit. In fact, let's kind of line it up with that a little bit more. Give it a little bit more directionality to it. Let's go ahead and use this. Get a little bit of a whoosh. I like that. I like that. I'll keep that. This little guy right here though feels like he needs to be thicker. It's too evenly spaced through here. So I'm just going to like really chunk that up. See about chunking up the back side of this one too. Bring it back. Yeah. Let's do it for this one too. Just kind of chunk that up. So now she's going to need something for like to tie that together. So I'm just going to take just one of these. Maybe not one of them. Let's see. Let's see if we can figure out getting this to. Nah, yeah, let's just take one of them. We'll say modify topology, delete hidden. Pull this out. Squish it down. Ah, I forgot that it was a tube. Awesome. Hopefully awesome. I don't know, we'll have to see what we decide later. Alright, I'm going to try to get this to feel like it's overlapping fabric. I do that by grabbing onto something like this and just kind of pulling it out. So that way it gets a little bit more of like that overlapped sort of look. I'm going to grab these. Let's kind of pull them up toward the top area here. Pull this underneath here. And something that's a little bit more interesting. I think it still needs a little bit. Like it feels like the thicknesses are kind of flexing together too much. So I think maybe it's a matter of taking things like this and pushing it in some. Well, you know what? Let's shoot. Oh, not Control W, Control A. There we go. Boom. Get something like that. And then we'll take this, kind of pull it out. You push this in some. For the color on this, I feel like it ought to be something slightly different, and I think I need to make it so that it's hugging the forms much more, so it's like it feels like it's pinching in on the hair. That feels too evenly spaced here. Kind of pull this out. Maybe what I can do is I can kind of so what we might do, just to be able to kind of finish out this hair, let's kind of push this in just to ease my troubles. We're going to do something similar down here. Just kind of pull this in. Essentially kind of like squeezing in, pinching the top, which we could do. We could use the gizmo, we could like mask off the tip and call it good. Give this a little bit more shape here. So I'm liking some of the things that I have going on with it. I just need to kind of play with it some. And then we just need to think of a color for it. Maybe we'll make it tie in with her shirt. So we'll pull this. We'll say color fill object. I could make it the same color as the pants, but I feel like that would be a little bit too much. I just want it to stand out some. So let's see. Let's try this one. Yeah, that might be a little bit too dark. So let's grab this. I'm gonna change my RGB intensity. Yeah, that works. And let's do it one more time. That way we get it so that it's not as light as the shirt, but not as dark as the eyebrow, so that it doesn't blend in too much with the pants. That's starting to feel much better. That phone's out of position now. Okay. Last thing we do before we call it a day is put that phone where it's supposed to be. I suspect that it just didn't stay selected when I was moving the arms around, which is fine. I mean, it's not hard to get that to where it needs to be. Yeah, that's feeling much better. She still feels like she's leaning forward quite a bit. So I think let's real quick. Last thing, I promise. Too old for that, poppycock. Oh, the foot's reversed. The feet are reversed. I'll have to fix that when we get into the other side. There are always going to be things to fix. So we're just going to take this. Just make her feel like she's more upright. I'll have to fix like some of her thigh issues here too at some point, but for today, I think we're mostly going to I get into this point of liking something and then looking at it from a different perspective or a different in a different context, like with a different color and whatnot, and being like, I don't know how I feel about it now. Which, you know, I'm sure that you do too, but it's just kind of funny. Okay, Z plugin, T post sub T. Looks like a female character called Irene from Fairy Tale. I actually haven't seen that, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that at all. It'll take just a moment to transfer everything to its positions. There we go. I think I want to take this leg real quick. I know I said real quick like so many times today, but real quick. Just to make sure that that's masked out the way that I want it to be at the knee. And I'm going to kind of rotate that in. It feels a little bit better. Just like there are just some like slight anatomy issues that I want to try to fix. Obviously, I won't get to all of them today. But I think this is definitely a good start. Make sure that curve is there. Cool. Okay. Okay, pencils down, pencils down, pencils down. There we go. Here is where she stands now. There we go. guess we'll put her about right there. We got a lot done. Yeah, she still has a ways to go, but I do want to take this character and push her to some level of finish. Ooh, something's standing out to me, and I've got to mark this for next time. I do this a lot when I'm working on stuff. It's like I want to draw attention to how even these chunks right here are, especially since it's such a big statement right there. It's very apparent, it's very easy to see. I want to make sure that I can remember to take this and vary this up some. So I'm just going to kind of bookmark these so that it's so that it's apparent to me. Save it. Perfect. All right. And we're done. We are done. All right. Well, one of the things that I'll probably go ahead and do is I'll probably sketch over this globe so that I can start to figure out how I want the globe, the Earth, to look. Yeah, I think there's a lot kind of going on that I want to design a little bit more. So I'll probably do some sketch overs of this on my iPad and play with it at some other point. So yeah. Thanks for coming and having fun. Let's go ahead and export this just so we can have this for later. Let's say progress 2A. Okay. A lot of things I want to fix on this. So we did a lot. So we've got, our fun character here that we played with Mother Earth, and then we've also got our Sailor Moon character here too that we also kind of played around with a little bit. Go ahead and take that to a white color. Yeah. So, having fun, being good in the neighborhood. Yeah, and then if you remember, we did a lot of, we did some topology edits, and we'll have things that we'll fix and we'll change with her, but, she's coming along. She's looking a little bit more how I feel like I envisioned her. But yeah, we'll leave them there. Thanks for coming. I had fun. Hopefully you guys had fun too. It's always fun kind of playing around with characters. Yeah, the weather is really good. It's supposed to be a high of 80 something today, so I'll be really happy with that. Cool. Time to go get breakfast and head out the door. Take care. Hope you guys had fun. I'll see you next time I see you. So far I'm not scheduled for anything, but we'll see what the schedule looks like for September when it comes out. So stay tuned, and I'll see you next time I see you. Cheers.